receivers received it with new 4-year contract extension.
Now the question becomes whether they can keep Trey Hendrickson.
Without Trey Hendrickson, no one can sit here honestly and say Bengals are legit Super Bowl contenders.
Back on Friday, we kicked off Bill Barnwell's AFC offseason superlatives with the AFC East and West, and we continue that series today with the AFC North. So, Bill, what is your superlative for the Steelers?
The Pittsburgh Steelers are most likely to wait until the last second to get that gift they need. Mike Tomlin still needs a quarterback unless he wants to move forward with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard as his options under center. Aaron Rodgers has been waiting. There's been rumors. There's been flirting. Nothing has gotten done yet. I don't even know necessarily this is a great fit. Of course, Aaron Rodgers does protect the football, but this is a quarterback who does not get involved in the quarterback run game, does not like heavy doses of play action, and that's what Arthur Smith's offense has done best over the last few seasons. So when you wait till the last second, you don't get the best gift, but at least you get something. And the Steelers probably need something at quarterback.
Jeff Darlington, what are the Steelers' top 3 priorities this offseason?
Well, I think we all know what number 1 is, Dan, and that is some clarity at the quarterback position. Listen, we know that they've got Mason Rudolph and potentially the Week 1 starter, but they need Aaron Rodgers to decide what he's going to do. And I do believe he eventually will sign with the team, but it's not over till it's over, until the ink is dried. So we got to get clarity there. Next one, strengthen the secondary. And I'm not saying add players, just find their identity as they go through these OTAs and then training camp. They added Darius Slay. I think that is a huge impact. Yes, Slay is getting older, but he has proven to be a very disruptive force. He could really help Joey Porter Jr. out as he continues to develop. I think strengthening the secondary is an important one. And then finally, figuring out TJ Watt's contract. Not saying this is a real problem just yet, but we do need to remember when it comes to TJ Watt, he had a hold in 2021. He did not agree to his new deal until September 9th, just days before the start of that season. Could that happen again through training camp? This is a team that potentially will have a new quarterback. They need to rely on leadership on defense. They've got to get that TJ Watt situation figured out sooner rather than later.
Lots of questions in Pittsburgh. Another team that has quarterback questions is the Cleveland Browns. So, Bill Barnwell, what is the Browns' offseason superlative?
The Cleveland Browns are most likely to pepper the wall and hope something sticks. No surprise they went after a quarterback during this offseason with Deshaun Watson injured. Maybe a surprise they added 4 quarterbacks to the mix in Cleveland. I would leave the quarterbacks aside and focus on the running game for the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski. Do they want to be an under-center, heavy play action team? That might lean towards Joe Flacco. Do they want to be a shotgun team, spread the field, maybe use more RPOs? That could lead to more Dylan Gabriel possibly as their quarterback. Lots of options, not necessarily you feel all that great about heading into 2025.
Stefanski talked about his quarterbacks to ESPN Cleveland, and he said the big thing for us is making sure we give the guys enough reps that they need. Making sure that they have enough, it's twofold. They're learning the system, they're developing, and we're evaluating them. We're finding out about them. It's not going to be everybody gets 25% of the reps. That's not how it's going to be. We want to give everybody enough reps where we can learn more about them and prepare them to get ready to play. So, Tim Hasselbeck, obviously the quarterback position will be where most of the focus is on the Browns this offseason, but give us 3 priorities for them as we head into the summer.
Well, let's look at, their best player. Myles Garrett was asking for a trade. Things obviously calmed down with a new deal, but is everyone all in? When your biggest leader is saying he wants out, how does that affect your locker rooms? I think that's a big factor. You talk about the offense and the quarterbacks. Well, they have a new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees. What impact is that going to have? Kevin Stefanski is an offensive coach. You think about what's happened in Baltimore. Todd Monken comes in. It basically is a shot of adrenaline to the offense in Baltimore. Can Tommy Rees have that type of effect? And look, the quarterback room, exactly right. There's 4 guys. It sounds great to say 25% for all guys, but truth is, you don't do it that way. You're getting somebody ready to play the season, and in pretty, short order, somebody emerges as the guy that's most prepared to help you win week 1. And so, you're not giving your 4th quarterback that may not even be on your roster 25% of the snaps at that point. So it's a crowded quarterback quarterback room, managing that, and if in fact all four guys legitimately have a shot to be the guy, is something that's not easily handled. It can also impact your locker room, your football team, with how it is handled, how those guys interact with their teammates because of it. And so, yeah, I think those are the main factors for Cleveland as they kick things off.
All right, to a team now that does not have a question at the quarterback position. That's the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's Bill Barnwell on Cincinnati's superlative.
The Cincinnati Bengals most likely to hope their biggest problem just kind of forgets about being mad. Of course, that's Trey Hendrickson, the star edge rusher, who has requested a trade or a new extension. The Bengals have not managed to do either so far. Hendrickson created 26 sacks last season for himself and his teammates. No one else in the NFL topped 14.5. He was out on an island, and the Bengals need him to compete. The problem is the price now for a top edge rusher up over $40 million after Myles Garrett signed his extension. So for the Bengals, no better time to sign him than now.
That is the big question, still remains in Cincinnati. RC, what are the three biggest Bengals priorities this summer?
Well, obviously, the first one is Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is an absolute dog. We should be talking about him being paid amongst the highest of edge rushers, and we know what Myles Garrett just signed for. And so to have him having to debate or haggle or hassle over getting his money is not a good look for the Cincinnati Bengals, who seemingly got over their "we're too cheap to pay people" sort of mantra there. And I think secondly, it's Al Golden. Will this defense coordinator be able to put his imprint on this team? Lou Anarumo, the longtime DC, is now gone to Indianapolis. Al Golden comes from Notre Dame with a heavy man-to-man sort of scheme. Can he get this defense playing at a high level? And lastly, what have you done the last few off seasons? Because whatever it is, don't do that junk no more. You have to figure out a way to start this season off much more quickly. We know who Joe Burrow is. We know how he finds a way to finish, but they have to start faster when you're in a conference that has the likes of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills. If you fall behind early, home field advantage is just a wish and a hope. So you got to start this season fast. You have games on the road early. Zach Taylor has to do something differently this offseason.
Yeah, if we see Jamar Chase making tackles in the opener like we did there, that's a problem for Cincinnati. All right, one more AFC North team for Barnwell, the Baltimore Ravens. What do you got, Bill?
For the Ravens, most likely to sign a player after June 1st. Why are they going to wait after June 1st? The compensatory pick formula. They have 2 picks coming. If they wait until after June 1st, Eric DeCosta loves those extra compensatory selections. What are they going to add? I would look towards the offensive line. Jedrick Wills, the former top 10 pick in Cleveland, still a free agent at tackle. The Ravens love a reclamation project. Could they mold him back into a starter? That's a place I'd look for if the Ravens do add somebody to an already talented roster.
All right, let's get everybody in on the Ravens here. Tim, you start. What do you got for the Ravens' priorities this summer?
Listen, I think that because of the growth we've seen from Lamar Jackson as a passer, we've seen the way the team has, kind of addressed things. And